Hello everyone, you are invited to take your seats. It's time for the title fight, the big one. This is what it has all been for. It's time for EWS Loudenvielle. We have returned to the Pyrenees Bike Festival, to a venue which will host the UCI World Cup Downhill and EWS doubleheader next season, but that is in the future, and we are very much dealing with the here and now of who will win the 2022 EWS overall titles. And here are those all-important championship standings. Isabelle Courdurier stands on the cusp of her second title, but Morgan Schär could still mathematically take the win if she could dominate this race, and Isa has a bad day. A trio of Brits in Bex Barona, Ella Connolly and Hattie Harnden are all vying for third. In the pro men's race, it is a familiar story. Melamed versus Rude, both hurt, both on the ropes, but the title remains up for grabs. It's advantage Jesse, but should he find form and start hoovering up points, Rude could still take a third crown. But also, he'll have to keep one eye over his shoulder, as Belgium's Martin Maes is in third, not far behind him. The course here in France has seen a lot of changes since we were here last year. Racing kicked off yesterday on the pro stage, the 2.4 kilometres of Kern. Sunday kicks off with Courtelay, and an absolutely amazing race stage before heading into the Queen stage, Dolmans, one of the steepest and most challenging of the year. After that it was Nabias, followed by the returning Val d'Aube. The short but steep Gutau followed before a final charge down Kern to decide the destination of the overall titles. The opening salvos were fired then on Saturday's pro stage, which descended into town. Kern was running extremely treacherously after some overnight rain. Morgan Schär made the best possible start and surged to the win ahead of Isabelle Courdurier.
It was really fun. I kind of struggled to get into the right mindset at the top, but then as soon as I dropped in, it was just, so much fun. And I think with the flat pedals, it was just the best for this one, because it was quite slippery, and I really enjoyed it.
Barona and Connolly would both have issues though. The latter would not take the start on Sunday as a result. And in the pro men's, it was advantage Melamed. Jesse brought his Rocky Mountain race face machine home in second. Rude could only manage 15th.
Yeah, I have a problem going slow, so I'm not too surprised, but I'm just really happy to start the weekend off with a really good stage.
But it was Giants Ewan Deneau, a Frenchman racing in France, who'd take the overnight lead with a stellar ride.
No rush, 5 more tomorrow and stay focused for that.
And here is how they would start the full course on Sunday. Schär leads Courdurier by 6 seconds. Carême, Pujan and Harnden are in close contention behind them. Deneau leads the way in the pro men's ahead of Melamed and the superb Charlie Murray in third. No fewer than 6 Frenchmen in the top 10, with big rides from Le Breu and Rodeo. Sunday dawned and conditions were slicker again. The hills of the Loudenvielle were suddenly all the more intimidating.
I told myself I wasn't going to crash that, and I just crashed 3 times on the first. Well, it was off my back at 3 points.
Morgan Schär came unstuck on the first stage of Sunday. She'd finish it in 4th.
It felt alright because it's, I don't know, it's just some weird mud. Looks like it's gonna hold on, and then suddenly you're just on the ground.
Hattie Harnden was now racing Bex Barona for third place in the championship and had made a good start with a third on the stage. The defending champion Melanie Pujan was second, but she couldn't match the time of a true champion-elect. Isabelle Courdurier won the stage by 7 seconds.
I'm relieved I made it down. Conditions are completely different from what we practiced and I felt super slow, but I'm on the bike, which is my plan for the day.
There was no such daylight between Melamed and Ruud. The title rivals finished the first stage of the day on the same 10th of a second in 5th and 6th.
Yes, go, come down!
Alex Rodeo brought his Commensal home to win the stage, but it was another champion, Sam Hill, who was making moves. The Aussie had crashed, but was still second fastest on Courtelay. Nabias was the Queen stage, the longest of the weekend at 3.7 kilometres. It featured a torturous drop of 700 vertical metres. Morgan Schär was now chasing the race and chasing her title hopes. She finished third on the stage behind Hattie Harnden. Ruud and Melamed were 8th and 10th on the stage. Richie had found 1.5 seconds on his rival, but it still wasn't close enough to the front of the race and the points he craved. Loudenvielle had been off at the top of stage 3 and tumbled down the order.
First place on the second stage, so yeah, it was good. And with the flat pedals, for me it was perfect, so yeah, I push as I want and it was okay.
Alex Rodeo was third on the stage behind Martin Mays and the stage winner Charlie Murray, who was going from strength to strength amidst the tricky conditions. After a frenetic morning then, this is how the race looked at the halfway point. Isabelle Courdurier led by 8.2 seconds from Morgan Schär, having taken the Queen stage points. Hattie Harnden was up into third ahead of Pujan and Carême. Brudkova and Stone rounded out the top 10. Alex Rodeo led the pro men's race. He had already won an EWSE in France earlier in the year. Could he repeat the trick on his regular bike? Charlie Murray was having one of the races off his EWS career in second place, holding off Martin Mays in the process. Deneau was now 4th ahead of Jack Moyer, who himself was up 2 spots. Melamed and Ruud were in the second half of the top 10, with the title tipped towards the Canadian. The 4th stage, Val d'Aube, was a high exposure, high speed blast along one of La Valley's highest ridgelines. Isabelle Courdurier was third on stage 4. She knew that staying at the front was the cleverest move that she could make. Melanie Pujan was second. The ghosts of a disappointing season were being vanquished and she was now into a podium position. Morgan Schär will have known that Courdurier's early pace may have already sealed the title, but the prospect of winning at home in France was still tantalisingly close. She won on Val d'Aube. Sam Hill went out of the race on stage 4. The three-time champ looked to be recovering some form towards the end of the year, but a flat would end his race in France. Martin Mays was in the groove and riding well. He was third on the stage behind a hard-charging Ewan Deneau, who'd recovered from that early crash. Jack Moyer won his first stage of the day on stage 4. The Aussie was on the move. The penultimate stage of the title decider was to be Gutau. Comfortably the shortest of the race, it remained the steepest as it plunged through the trees back towards Loudenvielle.
I got punctured at the top of the last one, so just happy to get the tyre down, and even with the tube in, it went pretty well, so just one more.
Isabelle Cordelier was third on the stage and was now starting to think about that well-deserved second title. Canada's Andréane Lamphey-Nadeau was second, just 2.6 seconds behind Morgane Char.
Some sections it's like really hard packed, so it's slick, and in other places it's fine.
If Char was about to miss out on the overall, then she was going to do so fighting.
I'm feeling like I'm off the par, like it's the end of the season and I definitely feel it.
That was hard, yeah. So physical, just track's pretty blown out.
Alex Rudolph, the race leader, was third on Val d'Aube and very much holding station. In front of him, however, the reigning champion Jack Moyer was riding himself into contention.
Went ham on the corner stage, which was 4. Yeah, that one a solid crack too and stayed up, so I said, alright, today, dial it back and stay on the back.
Moyer was making up for a slow start to the day and was second on the stage behind the man out to grab Rude's second place in the overall, Martin Mays.
That was good. Trying to keep it clean and enjoy the last stage of the day.
And so, with just one final stage to play for in the 2022 Enduro World Series season, this is how the race looked. Isabelle Cordelier's lead was only a second from Morgane Char, but the points haul from that Queen Stage victory and the fact that she was right at the sharp end of the race meant that the title looked to be hers. Char was fighting on in second. Melanie Poujam was having one of her best races of the season to make it an all-French top 3. Hattie Harnden needed just one more stage to clinch that third spot in the overall. The top 3 in the pro men's race were now covered by a little over 5 seconds. Martin Mays was third, just behind Jack Moyer, who was just 4 seconds back of the leader, who stood a stage away from winning his debut EWS, Alex Rudolph. Deneau had leapfrogged Murray for 4th, and the title contenders were stationed 6th and 8th. The final stage of 2022 was a rerun of the pro stage Cairn. Steep and fast, it deposited the racers into Loudenvielle's famous rock gully before spitting them back into the town itself. It would mark the completion of the 124 kilometres of race stages of 2022. It was time to crown some champions. The French line held on stage 6. Melanie Poujam was third on the stage and kept the momentum rolling to seal third place. But at the front there was a change of state. Morgane Char's title hopes had only ever been slender at best, but aside from a title, there's very little that can top winning at home. The Pivot Factory racing rider won the last stage by a crushing 10.6 seconds to take the race win right on the final stage.
Yeah, it feels really good. From the start of this week, I was like, oh, that's my last chance to get a win this year. And I've been like so close. And yeah, it feels so good.
Isabelle Corderie finished the stage and the race behind her, but it mattered little. She rode home to a title that will go down as one of the toughest won in EWS history.
It's been a pretty wild day with the conditions we had, and it was difficult for me to just ride smooth and try to get in the flow. I was so afraid of crashing and losing the overall today, so I just tried to find a speed I could hold on, and I'm super stoked about second today. It's way above my expectation, and finally, yeah, like having the overall again is so nice.
Jack Moyer was fourth on the stage behind the impressive Nathan Secondi in third, but the time shipped to the stage winner Martin Maes was sizable and would see the Belgian climb one position in the overall and take second place at the final race of the year. And there was no stopping Alex Rudolph. The young Frenchman had already had a terrific 2022, but he rode all day with peerless speed and consistency to take his debut EWS win.
I never been on the podium, and the first time it's on the first place. Oh, what else? That's incredible. Even more in this place, in Loudenvielle, in this valley.
Pour le général, alors que Martin Mas passe devant Judge, Richie Root in third.
After 8 rounds, 44 stages and 19,253 metres of descending, Jesse Melamed secured his debut Enduro World Series overall winner's title.
It wasn't mathematically done, so I had to be like still very focused, and I think that helped me focus, and I knew I had to be like inch perfect, and I think I was. Like, I rode slow and steady like I did yesterday, and for some of the stages that were really tricky, that was really good, and some it was slower, but that's just all I had to do. I just had to get through this day clean. I'm really proud to have raced the race that I did today, because people know me, I'm pretty loose and wild.
This is how the EWS Loudenvielle finished then. Morgane Schär takes her first win of the season despite all those podiums. Isabelle Corderie was second and Melanie Pujan was third. Noga Karem clocked her best result of the season in fourth, just ahead of an amazing ride from Hattie Harnden in fifth. Alex Rodeo then taking that debut win ahead of Maes and Moyer. Charlie Murray, one of his best EWS races so far, in fourth ahead of Ewan Deneau in fifth. Melamed and Rude inseparable as ever in sixth and seventh. And as the champagne continues to rain down across the Pyrenees Bike Festival, here's confirmation of the 2022 championship standings. Isabelle Corderie takes her second title in a display of grit and toughness seldom seen in just about any other sport. Morgane Schär finishes second, and Hattie Harnden, after winning the Battle of the Brits, comes home in third. Noga Karem was sixth, Melanie Pujan was seventh, and Andrian Lanfey-Nadeau was eighth. And in the pro men's, Jesse Melamed is crowned overall title winner 2022. Richie Rude came close, but will have to wait at least another year to join Sam Hill and Cécile Ravenel in that elusive triple title winners club. Martin Maes will leave 2022 happy with a consistent third place in the world. Jack Moyer had a slow start to the year, but was the last rider to crest 3,000 points in fourth place. Eddie Masters had a superb season to finish ahead of Lukasic, Werner and Murray. And that debut win boosts Alex Rudolph ahead of Matt Walker into ninth. Finally then, after a year-long battle, it is Pivot Factory Racing who take home the team's championship title, just ahead of Rocky Mountain Raceface, with the Lapierre Zip Collective in third place. There we have it then. What a season, what a year of racing. 2 new champions crowned. Congratulations to them. Don't forget though, we have one last big hurrah this year, the Bluegrass Trophy of Nations in Finale Liguri, the spiritual home of enduro racing. Next weekend, do not miss it. There is nothing better than bike racing in Finale. Thanks for watching this season. We'll see you there.